the first purpose why. All right. So for those that were not here when I started, I'm Isaac Olifadewa. I'm a medical doctor, finished my training in University of Ibadan, and I'm also the executive director of Samara Health Initiative and Samara Health Initiative Research Academy. So we've talked about many things as regarding why we want to become doctors and to save lives, but whether you are in medicine to save lives, whether you're in medicine for the perks, which I mean, the moderate or modest salary is not as much as people think, for the respect, for the, how people will treat you in the society when, if you're a medical doctor, the primary ways that you can maximize your potential. The first thing that you have to take note is that you have to pass your exams. So that's if someone comes to tell you, oh, you have to, you have to join the Red Cross, you have to do so many activities, you have to start saving lives while in school, and then you have tests the next morning, just remember that you'll not be able to save any lives if you fail your exams. When I say save many lives, if you fail your exams, you'll not be able to save many lives in the long run. So the most important thing is for you to study yourself, know yourself well, know what you're capable of as an individual and what you can do. How many things can you juggle together, and know, okay, this is what I think I want to do at this moment. So, when it comes to maximizing your potential as a medical student and as a healthcare professional, doctor to be. Because that's the major reason. So the second thing I want to really say is this. I think one thing that people do not know or people do not understand as a med experiment a lot. Now, when I use the word experiment a lot, I do not really mean just wander away and just start wasting your life away. I remember entering medical school with a very serious mindset that, oh yeah, I'm here to have all the A's, I'm here point, I'm here to do this and do that, But while I was, going through this, I think I was really, I was fortunate enough to meet one of like an elder sister, a family friend of mine who was also in medicine. She was a year my senior, and then she was with another guy, and then the guy was like, wow, means, I just read only book, and even the 7 point I did not have. I think he had 6.8 or 6.7 then, but at least try to do some other things, try to, do many other things like that you think, just try to sit down with yourself and try to just see some things that you can really do now because you might not have time to do them again. Thank God for that advice. It saved me a lot of times. Not only saving me in terms of it's making life, will I say, way much better for me right now, because there are some things that you can never do again once you leave medical school, and that is the truth. You will never have that chance to be able to do that again if you fail to do them now in medical school. I can never go back to my CV now and try to say, Isaac joined Red Cross while in school, because I did not join Red Cross while I was in school. I cannot go back to my CV again and say, oh, I did this, I did that. So there are some things that time is of an essence for you people, as medical students, that you have to do now that you will never have a chance to do again. And why am I saying this? You don't really know what you don't like right now until you try some other new things. I never believed that I could be a fantastic speaker until I experimented with the Literary and Debating Society. I never believed that I would be a good writer until I joined the editorial board of both my fellowship and also my school. So I never believed I could do so many things, even do well in politics, until I tried to contest for election, failed. Then I contested for another election as my state association president and succeeded. So why am I saying this is that on your mission to pass well, you must also not just pass through school. You
Yes.
have to also pick up one or two skills in several domains So one of them could be communication skills. Communication skills are very important in the world where we live in right now. Writing skills, they are very, very important. Fun networking skills are really cool. And how do you get all these skills? They come by experimenting. Now, I use the word experiment because sometimes, you might actually discover that you are not, after several efforts that you have put into these things, you are not still the best, in these things. And yes, I mean, that's fine. You can always just jump and, go into another thing and say, okay, yeah, I'm not good with maybe playing football for my class. I'm good with doing this. So that's one key thing that you would discover. While I was in school, I coached my team. I coached my class. That's the below hall students who, like, they were my classmates. I coached them for post MBBS cup. I don't know whether you guys still play that cup today. We won. I coached my set. That's the whole class of my MBBS. I tried that, until I mean, one day we lost so badly that I had to resign, but I tried now. That's where I would come in. I tried playing hockey for UI. In fact, I got the full kit for UI. I got the hockey stick, very expensive thing. So I played hockey for UI, and I failed. I eventually left the team, and I was in the team, right? I was doing the practice sessions and all that with them, and doing all those things. But that's where the concept of experimentation comes in, because the pressure that comes with, oh, I must succeed in this endeavor, is what really makes people depressed, what makes people feel sad, what they make them, because the truth is that you don't really know what you excel in until you actually engage in these things. I played I came third in this. So all these little things really, are the things that really make up a very sound, interesting, balanced life. I was the editorial board of my fellowship. I mean, leader of my fellowship in UCHCF. And all this, I succeeded in some, in many, I failed in some, and that's where you really be able to understand yourself. Because I think one thing that really comes, first I said you have to pass your exams, you have to experiment a lot, then you have to understand yourself. While you're experimenting, keep doing the maths. What am I really good in? What am I really good at? I tried playing football, I failed. I went coaching, I passed a little bit. Later I failed. I tried public speaking, I failed, I passed, I had massive success. I won a literary and debating competition. So that is it. Writing, I started on a good notes and all that, and I'm still writing. I've published a book now because I started writing then in the university. So the whole thing is, and the whole idea is, that don't put your pressure on yourself under any pressure that I must succeed by fire by force. See it as an experiment, and an experiment where you are enjoying yourself. So I said pass, you experiment a lot. While you're experimenting a lot, it takes me to my second point, which is understand yourself. When is the best time for you to read? Because I was doing so many things that I had to plan my day, very well. Well, other medical students can afford to gist for 3 hours and all that. I was able to understand myself. I really learned a lot through tutorials. I never had a receipt, and I'm not saying that, as a matter of pride, but because I was able to understand myself. I knew the time I was able to absorb information more. Remember my first point: pass your exams. And I know, at the point when I was the Literary and Debating Society of Clinical Sciences, and I later became the Literary and Debating Society of the whole University of Ibadan, controlling the whole 10 halls of residence and 13 faculties, I knew that if I failed my exams, the whole of UI will know. And that also brings us back to the first, to the first thing again. You have to pass your exams and your tests. Very, very key. Very, very important. So pass your exams and your tests, experiment a lot, understand yourself, understand how you learn, understand how you engage with life. What do you really love about the things that you are doing, the other things that you are doing, because you will be surprised how much that thing can really take you higher in your life. You'll be surprised how much way on which platforms that you really need those skills. I was in London in 2019, and I was leading a session, moderating a session on universal health coverage. And we had former presidents, Mary Robinson, former WHOX, director and all that, and former president of Norway, and the likes. And we also had Richard Branson, some very interesting business leaders and all that. And there and then I had to come up with what I moderated our table. I had the former WHO Director General, and I also had to share what we talked about in our table to all these eminent people within 2 minutes. And I summarized it so well. Our guys like, wow, it seems like I've been doing this a lot. That's the power of doing and maximizing your potential then as a medical student. And probably would never have thought that I would need that skill as at that important moment. And somebody coming from Africa, where other guys from America and Europe and Australia and over Asia were there, it was really important that I showcased a brand of excellence. And that is exactly where you also need to understand the importance of the next point, which is joining associations and clubs. It's understandable that you say, I will develop my writing skills on my own. I mean, you just be lying, because you will just keep waiting for inspirations when you are not a waiter. Like somebody would say, waiters are the ones that wait, thinkers are the ones that think, writers write. So instead of saying you will develop your writing skills on your own, join an editorial board, join a writing club, join the Literary and Debating Society, join places or groups, like Quills. I don't know whether Quills is still in ABH and all these other groups that will develop your writing skills. The bottom line fact is that you need accountability in any area of that you want to progress in what you do. So accountability really matters. And for you to really go, excel, you need that accountability. You need an accountable group for you to really excel, such as a group like this, where people come, discuss, rub minds together, share very valuable points. You will never be better than the people that you mix with and the books that you read. So pass your exams, experiment a lot, understand yourself. Like I wrote in my book Unique, if you do not really understand yourself, you don't really understand your unique potential, you don't really understand your unique value and understand what you contribute to this world, then join associations, join groups that would bring out the best in you, groups that are doing something serious, not groups that is just only just a group for the sake of just being a group. So associations really matter a lot. I would really say that in terms of strategies, working on all this line, first strategy for passing your exams is, there are different strategies for different people, but one thing that is really important is that work with the brightest minds in your class. I wouldn't really consider myself as like extremely intelligent, but I know people that are extremely intelligent, and when I meet them, I am not intimidated by them. I want them to be my friends. I really learn a lot through listening. I tell them, everybody really wants to share that stuff. That's something in medical school. And I've not really read, I'll probably memorize that or practicing a speech, over a time. And I know that my first priority and my first stuff in this class, in this school, is to pass my test and pass my exams. I listen to them for sometimes 30 minutes, 1 hour, sharing the stuffs. I'm very, very good at grabbing things once I hear them. And, at least because I've also read them. So the best, people in terms of intelligence people in my class, a lot of them were my friends. When I say friends, not just high friends, they were my very, very good friends, very, very close friends. So I also loved working, in tutorial groups, like, joining tutorial groups. I ask questions a lot, and I ask it jokingly, a lot of people, I noticed that a lot of, in medical school, some people really are proud when I say proud, in the sense of, oh, I don't want my roommate teaching me. They will not say, after you pass your exam or your test, nobody really cares who taught you, whether you learned it in theory or whether you read it in a book or whether you did this or whether you did that. One of the things, strategies for passing your test is also talking to your seniors, especially your 1 year, people that are 1 year your senior. You just finished that MBA exam. I will just really give you a very, very brief story. During our stuff, I talked to my senior. They told me, when you're doing your when you're doing ophthalmology in your finals, one of the strategies they do is that they don't put the patient at the 6 meter. You have 6 meters to look at that and then read out those letters. And because of the pressure, a lot of people really miss out this step. So one of the first things you do is that you calculate, is it up to 6 meters, and shift the patient back to that line. Just because almost a lot of people would miss that out. So because they made that mistake, you won't repeat that mistake. So have at least like 5 seniors that are your friends that you can talk to. Yes, because it's when you're really comfortable on the academic side that you can actually also really express yourself or understand yourself in your diverse other talents and discover your diverse other talents. Because I think one huge thing I wouldn't really want you to fall into is having to maybe rewrite an exam or have a receipt, and then that takes a whole lot of time, and then you forget and neglect other things that you really want to do. So that's a very critical thing. So that's a very great strategy for you to work with. And I believe that also you have to engage with fellowship, engage with engage with will I use the word brethren within your class too? Because I think one thing that is really important even after medical school is the relationship that continues afterwards. So really engage with your
Sorry,
close
hello,
friends.
Dr. Olufadewa. Please, sorry. This
Yes.
meeting we end in like less than a minute, so I'll just admonish every one of us to join back with the same link since the meeting we end in less than a
Okay, no
minute
problem.
because the Zoom was timed. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, no problem. So that's it. In terms of like that's another point. So join like fellowship groups, and then